Timex has a long history of producing watches. The company started in 1854, and after going through a couple of ownership changes throughout history, we end up with the modern brand we know today. And that brand is known for producing a whole catalogue of different watches at a relatively low cost. What really surprised me is their range of extremely cheap field watches. The watch I'm reviewing today is one of those, the Timex Expedition Acadia. When I came across this watch on Amazon, I was a bit dubious. In my experience, when a watch costs around $70, you usually don't get what you were hoping for. Unless of course you're a Casio. However, I'm always in the market for a good everyday beater, so I thought I'd give this a try. Now, before I go into the review, I just want to clarify what a field watch is and what makes a good field watch. So in short, a field watch is a military watch originally designed to display accurate time for soldiers and officers in the First World War. Funnily enough, this is why we wear watches on our wrists today. In the modern world, a field watch is a simple and easy to wear recreation of those World War I watches. They have a timeless and iconic look, which makes them very popular. Field watches, although not made to be expensive, have to be lightweight, durable and reliable. It also helps if they have some field capabilities, like good water resistance, shock resistance, or being solar powered. Now let's see if the Expedition Acadia ticks any of those boxes. This watch comes in a few colour variations. I chose to go for the blue and black version. The case has a nice matte finish to it, typical of field watches. At first, I thought this case might be a lightweight metal or something like that, but after some research, I discovered it's made out of a type of resin. So essentially, it's a strong plastic. I'm not sure how I feel about this. A field watch, after all, shouldn't be plastic. I mean, for obvious reasons. The black crown is tucked in nicely between the large crown guard. On the dark grey, almost charcoal dial is an orange 12 o'clock marker and an orange seconds hand. The orange goes well with the blue colour of the watch, as they are opposites on the colour wheel, so extra points to Timex for aesthetics. The glass protrudes out of the case a very small amount, but it's basically flat. This is mineral glass, so will pick up scratches easier than sapphire. The watch is 11mm thick, so although not chunky on the wrist, it's not exactly slim. This watch has the Timex Indigo function, which means when you push and hold the crown down, the watch face lights up. I mean, it's not amazing, it's not spectacularly bright, but it works, and that's the main thing. The NATO style strap is also typical of field watches. I would have preferred not having Velcro, but this comes down to personal preference. When it comes to water resistance, the watch is rated at 50 meters, which isn't as bad as some watches out there. This means you'll be able to get the watch wet in the rain, for example, but I wouldn't go wading through a river with it on, unless of course you have your hands nice and high. Now, when I first put on this watch, I thought I was going crazy. I thought I was hearing things, until I realized it wasn't me. It's just the watch. This quartz movement produces such a loud tick that it even drove my cat mad for a couple of days. It was kind of just staring at the wall, trying to figure out where the sound was coming from. I honestly can't say why the tick is so loud, although I'm not sure it's intentional from Timex. This is a pretty generic bog standard quartz movement, so maybe it has something to do with the build quality of the watch. Wearing this watch feels relatively okay. Like I said before, it's thicker than I would have hoped, but fairly comfortable nonetheless. The weight of this thing really took me back, however. It's so light that you can't even feel it on your wrist sometimes. I want to say this is a good thing for a field watch, but I can't help but think it's more to do with the quality of the watch and the case material. It honestly reminds me of one of those toy watches you used to get in Christmas crackers. I know, that's not exactly a compliment. It just feels fragile. Like I can't do daily activities without constantly worrying about knocking it on something like a wall or a door frame. Let me put it this way, I certainly wouldn't be taking this thing into the trenches. So should you buy this watch? Well, that depends on what you're willing to be happy with. This is a very capable field watch and has lots of nice features for the price. My gut instinct, however, tells me that if you want a good field watch, you're probably better off waiting until you can afford something a bit more robust. Timex do make more expensive versions of this watch, the titanium one being particularly nice. Seiko and Citizen also produce affordable field watches that don't feel like toys. Timex making a field watch of this debatable quality kind of defeats the purpose of making it in the first place. I do appreciate Timex bringing this watch to the masses. It's incredibly cheap, but when a watch feels this hollow, something just feels off, especially for a field watch. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button to get the channel growing, and I'll see you next time.